Now to this developing right now. This is a live look at Cal Anderson Park in Seattle, where a large crowd gathered for a march to the federal courthouse downtown. As we first told you at 5 o'clock, this protest and others around the country are in response to President Trump's firing of Attorney General Jeff Sessions.
KIRO 7's Michael Spears is live at that rally where Governor Jay Inslee showed up to support. Michael?
Yes, Governor Jay Inslee, also King County Executive Dow Constantine. Among those here, have a look at the crowd. A lot of folks packed in here. Organizers say their message, no one is above the law.
Donald Trump is not above the law.
Now, that was video taken within the last hour. Organizers said this protest, one of many planned nationwide, is in opposition to President Trump's firing of Jeff Sessions and appointment of Matthew Whitaker as acting AG, and concerns they have of what this will mean for the special counsel's investigation, given Whitaker has publicly been critical of Robert Mueller and the investigation prior to joining the Justice Department. Now, this protest comes as 18 attorneys general this afternoon, including Washington AG Bob Ferguson, banded together to sign a letter calling on Whitaker to recuse himself from overseeing the special counsel's investigation.
Oppression needs to be confronted early because the loss of our civil liberties follows the loss of the rule of law. And right now the rule of law is threatened. It is threatened by a president who is afraid of being held accountable.
Now, this protest involves a coalition of groups. It's done in the 5 o'clock hour across the country and one of several planned across western Washington. Their route here is once they leave Cal Anderson, will head down Pine Street to 2nd Avenue to the federal courthouse. The city of Seattle planning and warning about the impacts this will cause for traffic as they prepare right now to take off to the courthouse. Definitely going to affect the evening rush hour commute as folks head out from here. We'll be here watching and bring you live updates as soon as we get them. For now, we're live in Cal Anderson Park. I'm Michael Spears, KIRO 7 News.
We are staying on top of developing news. Live pictures of the Seattle protests now on the move toward downtown Seattle. They are rallying against the president for making a power play in the Russia investigation. We are on the ground speaking with demonstrators next.
And a South bike shop targeted by burglars. The crime caught on surveillance. What the business is now doing to keep future crooks out.
KIRO 7 News in the morning. Give it
Robin. Yum. My.
Order the Red Robin Gourmet Burger Bar and cater like a boss. Let's burger.
Red Robin. Yum. Live, local, in-depth. KIRO 7 News at 6 starts now.
Developing now, a growing crowd of protesters and politicians are marching in Seattle tonight, decrying the president's firing of Attorney General Jeff Sessions. And now they're on the move.
Let's take a live look right now at that demonstration from Chopper 7. Those protesters are marching down Pine Street right now. That is through the heart of downtown Seattle. They're just passing the Paramount Theater as they head to the H.M. Jackson Federal Building on 2nd Avenue. Now, this is blocking streets right now during the heart of the commute. Good evening. I'm Monique Minglavin.
And I'm Dave Wagner. KIRO 7's Essex Porter is reporting from the middle of that march tonight. Essex, tell us what the atmosphere is like there right now.
The atmosphere really is determined, and again, we'll take a look at the crowd from Chopper 7 because it's really quite large. But as I'm walking, I hear of a group next to me, and they're basically saying, stand up, and then the response is fight back. This is a determined crowd. They're very much determined to make sure that the White House actually hears exactly what they want. They don't like the idea that the Mueller investigation is under threat. With the actions of the last few days, with the firing of the Attorney General, Congresswoman Camilla Jayapal says that the situation has reached a red line.
We will fight to preserve our Constitution and make sure that nobody, not even the President of the United States, is above the law.
We have to start right out of the gate and say, why wait after the door's already opened and then shut? Here we are, the door's been opened, and so we're going to plow on through and say, no, you're not going that direction.
They don't want the president to take any more action that might disrupt the Mueller investigation. They don't trust Acting Attorney General Matt Whitaker, who has criticized the Mueller investigation. They know that they are part of a nationwide group of marches that are happening all over the country. They all began at 5 o'clock local time. There are other marches here in the Puget Sound region as well. Very, very big crowd, very peaceful crowd. Some people have brought their kids as well. Photographer Joe Orsil will give you a look at this crowd and some of the signs. You see, signs not only about the Mueller investigation, but you see people carrying their American flags. They believe here that they are defending their Constitution. They want the Mueller investigation to continue unimpeded, and that's the message they have from Seattle to President Trump. Reporting live in downtown Seattle, Essex Court, KIRO 7 News.
From Earshot, Essex, you can see several generations were out there, and now from Chopper 7, we can see the front of that crowd again as it makes its way down Pine Street. Many of these people, Dave, had their voices. They made their voices heard at the ballot just a couple of days ago, and now they're clearing their throats again.
This is one of just many protests around the country right now. A lot of folks angry about what's taken place over the last 24 hours. We'll keep an eye on this and bring you updates as necessary.
Well, your property taxes. Looking live now at the demonstration in downtown Seattle from Chopper 7, you can see all of these marchers who started on Capitol Hill now making their way to Westlake Park. This is a protest that started at about 5 o'clock tonight to protest President Trump's firing of his attorney general and putting in Jeff Sessions' place somebody who is seen as very loyal to Trump. People out there really arguing to support Robert Mueller's investigation into Russian interference in the 2016 election. We're seeing more and more people actually join this group over the last hour and 15 minutes as more people have joined coming after work, after school. It has been peaceful, although it has blocked some streets. And so anyone who may be seeing extra traffic downtown, that is why they started again on Capitol Hill, came down Pine, and then heading over on 2nd to the Federal Building. We're going to keep our eye on this and bring you any updates on KIRO7.com as well as our social media platforms. Now, meanwhile,
Steve, those protesters gathered here outside of the Federal Building. When we were walking down here with the protesters, they talked about just how fast this was organized and how surprised they were at the size of the crowds. You saw from Chopper 7 a huge turnout here in downtown Seattle. We're on 2nd Avenue, which has been shut down for this protest. We were there at Cal Anderson Park as they began with a few speakers, including Governor Jay Inslee, who we interviewed after he spoke. And his message was stressing what he said, oppression that needs to be confronted early, he said, and folks who need to be accountable, pointing to President Trump. And that is the message we're hearing this evening from the protesters. You see it on their signs there saying, no one is above the law. And that's really the center of the message here from the protesters as you talk about the Mueller investigation and the firing of Jeff Sessions and the hope in the push right now from folks to have this investigation protected. So loud right now on the mic. We were talking to some folks who said, again, they were surprised at how fast this organized, but wouldn't miss this, didn't want to stay home, felt it was very important for them to be out here. So right now, a lot of folks in the streets. It's going to continue for a little bit more time. We know Mayor Ginny Durkin is coming down here as well. We'll stick around, give you updates when we get them. Live in downtown Seattle, Michael Spears, KIRO 7 News.
Now, Seattle is just one of hundreds of cities around the country where these protests to protect the Mueller investigation have taken place tonight, including Chicago, Washington, D.C., New York, and Atlanta. Now, we will stay with the protests as it continues.
Stand up, fight back! Stand up, fight back! Stand up!
Demonstrations around the Pacific Northwest tonight and the nation. People in Edmonds, North Bend, and Seattle all rallying tonight.
It's reaction to the resignation of Attorney General Jeff Sessions. Protesters worry about the future of the Mueller investigation. They think it could be in jeopardy. They want to protect that investigation, which they worry could end under the new acting AG.
Tonight's event was part of a string of protests across the country. As King 5's Michael Crow tells us, they hope to be heard.
Those who fight for justice.
The crowd grew in Capitol Hill.
He has basically said that he will put the president above the Constitution.
Their voices growing larger, too.
We have to go back and say that protecting our democracy and standing up for the Constitution is not a Democratic issue. It is an American issue.
All hoping their message
It is a big warning shot.
will be heard thousands of miles away.
Trump is not above the law. Trump is not above the law.
These protesters are worried that with Attorney General Jeff Sessions' forced resignation, the Mueller probe into President Trump could be in jeopardy.
It's time to let Mueller do his job. It's not a witch hunt. If you got nothing to hide, don't let him do his thing, right?
Pro-America, anti-Trump.
It's amazing. It's just wonderful. It came together so fast and so many people came out.
Catherine Cleland led them into downtown, drawn by love.
My love for my country, my love for democracy, and my hope for my future and my kids' future.
And she says this message has to carry to the White House.
Tonight, they better be hearing us, because we're the American people, and they need to listen to us.
But others here came out of fear.
Me and my husband were a minority, and so if he makes it unsafe for people of racial minorities, he's going to make it unsafe for us.
Kristen Holtzum and her husband sometimes struggle to get around, but these issues at hand lately moved them.
They're trying to get rid of our health care, and if they do that, we're going to be put back in institutions and nursing homes, and that's not a life we want. We want to be part of American society and American life.
And when the crowd finally reached the federal building, their rally continued.
To protect the president or advance his political interests.
Hoping the images of bodies packing 2nd Avenue carries more meaning than words.
We need to show that this is bipartisan, that we will not stand for this. We need to make sure that no president is above the law.
Michael Crow, King 5 News.
Meantime, special counsel Robert Mueller has started writing his final report on an 18-month-long investigation into possible ties between President Trump's presidential campaign and Russia. CNN is reporting the president has agreed to answer Mueller's questions in writing.